Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. Um, so this video is going to be a recap of some of the things that went well or did not go well on the tech report, which I have now graded all of those, and kind of a preview of some things that should be on your radar for this coming week with the reference list and outline. And I make a special offer to those who are watching this video. So stay tuned, keep watching. I don't know, whatever. Okay, Sarah had a really good report. I am going to show some things using hers as kind of the illustration, and I'm going to mostly not be talking about hers, but I'm using hers as the backdrop. A surprising number of you did not get the letter of transmittal, and that was 10 points straight off. And spoiler alert, the offer that I make is having to do with that. I like how it's on one page, nice and concise, got the idea across. That's what we're going for. No blank pages though. Centered, because that's what APA does, would have been nice, but I like that using the template. The intro, conclusion, and discussions that were about this length almost always got some points deducted, because unless you were like making the most of every single sentence, that's just not enough space to do it. Especially the discussion. I'll rant about that in a second. This one was okay because it was like packing a punch on each sentence, but like if you aren't like super on point, this amount of intro is gonna would have lost you some points for me. You gotta have more. I mean, like, why don't we just have this whole thing boiled down to one sentence? Because it can't be done. You just can't get this much information across. You need a certain amount of length. There weren't length requirements, but there were content. It needs to have this purpose fulfilled, and I feel comfortable saying that. Methods, there were a lot of people who lost points by not having enough information about what kinds of activities are we talking about here. Just the purpose of the methods is, okay, like, can this be replicated? And without a little bit more, and some of you that had like, okay, see the appendix for this, it's like, okay, that's enough for me to know, like, okay, that's enough to kind of really briefly handle that. But and there was a lot of copy pasting, which I have mixed feelings about. The ones that I can tell really put it in their own words, summarized, I was more comfortable with, because a lot of times it was just like, oh well, I'm copy pasting this information, therefore that's it. But it's like, that's not what you're here for. You're here for, like, you're the curator. You are the one who is like putting all of this together, making sure that it makes sense. You can't just outsource to the information that you're getting. You have to have some ownership. Speaking of which, the graphs, overall, I really liked the variety and the use of graphs. The reason I liked Sarah's was I looked at this and I'm like, ooh, this is a little light on, like, what does this mean? But then I saw that this was the well-being, the high well-being, and then it matched with the low well-being. And together, that was like, yes, because we're comparing. There's a strong comparison. You can look at this, and you can look at that. I would say, I wish that there was some more brutal, like, usage of the data. So what I really liked about this, Sarah was the only one who used high well-being and low well-being, did not even touch the medium well-being. And throughout grading, I'm like, I really hope someone really cuts to the chase of, like, what is the minimum of needed, kind of like, the low well-being is where students are, that we want to move them into the high well-being, and I'm just going to ignore the medium. That's I can respect that argument. The people who said, I'm going to include medium, I'm going to include the totals, it's like, you're letting the data push you around, is what I felt like. And so definitely the totals are, I mean, what is that? That doesn't really benefit You can have that in the text if you feel like that's absolutely necessary, or even in the appendix. I would not be sad at all to see that happen. Discussion really needs to hit that. Okay, what does the data and all of the, Sarah, I point this out, that these should be in the results. All your graphs need to be in the results section. The discussion is where you draw the connections between, here's the data that I highlighted, the select curated view of the data that I have highlighted, this thing where there's a big difference. Discussions where you were making the connection between that comparison and the recommendation. And the conclusions where you're wrapping it all up. Okay, I've gone on long enough with this. I'm going to say, we're 6 minutes into this video. I'm going to make an offer. If you're watching this video, I respect the work that you're doing and that you're putting the effort in. I'm going to say, even though I mentioned this offer at the beginning, I'm going for it because I've hidden it for you who are diligent. If you didn't submit a letter of transmittal, I will know that you're watching these videos if you shoot me an email saying, I saw your video and I am going to submit my letter of transmittal right here, and I will go back and grade it, and you will get, if it's a solid letter of transmittal, you will get 10 out of 10 on that section, and it will boost you from, however much you had plus 10 points. So there you go. Okay. Few things to note. The reference list part 2, you need to have an additional 5 to 6. So this is not just, sometimes I remember having gotten the same 5. I would like you to just add on to the same list. So the 5 to 6 you've already done, add 5 or 6 onto that. So I have all of them right there. If you add 5 or 6 additional, if I only see 5 or 6 on there, I will check with your previous upload and see that you haven't reused any of them or that they're all unique ones. That's acceptable, but that's what I would prefer. Outline, you don't necessarily have to answer all of these. You want more, be thinking about more this section, the free write initial ideas. If you want to leave the thesis until the end, so come up with intro, lines of argument, opposing views, conclusion, and then go back and write the thesis, I think that would be probably the best idea. Leave that to the end as much as possible. Okay, long video, but a lot of stuff to cover. So good luck, and talk to you guys later.